Welcome back, everyone, to the Week 9 edition of Bryce's Bi-Week Buys, where I go over the guys that are on bye this week and some good waiver wire replacements for your team if you need them. If you haven't seen this show works, every single guy that I'm going to highlight today is owned in under 50% of ESPN leagues, so they should be on the waiver wire for the majority of you out there. We got 4 teams on bye this week, a lot of really good offenses. Atlanta, Los Angeles Rams, New Orleans, and the lowly Cincinnati Bengals. But between those first 3 teams anyway, you have a bunch of great quarterbacks. Matt Ryan has been hurt, Jared Goff, Drew Brees, great running backs, Alvin Kamara, he's been hurt too, but Latavius Murray's been picking up the slack, Devontae Freeman, then you have other guys like Joe Mixon, a little bit of a lower tier. A lot of receivers as well, Tyler Boyd, Julio Jones, of course, the three-headed beast that's in Los Angeles. So a lot of guys to replace this week. We'll go through position by position, and I'll highlight one guy. I'll give you some more guys too. Don't worry about it if they're also on your waiver wire. But with that, we'll start with the quarterback position. And here we're going to go out to Oakland, the Dirty Raiders, Derek Carr. He's going up against the Detroit Lions. If you saw what the Giants did last week, Daniel Jones put up 30-plus points in all formats and any kind of scoring that you may have. I had one league with crazy bonuses, almost had 40 points. This is a vulnerable defense. Tyrell Williams is back. He looks pretty good. I like Derek Carr. Derek Carr's last 2 games, nearly 500 yards and 5 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Little known fact, Derek Carr is a 103 passer rating this year, among the top in the league with a 76% completion percentage. Derek Carr is going to be a good streamer this week, owned at only 32.5% of leagues. If you're looking for other guys out there too, I like Gardner Minshew a lot, the mustachioed man out in Jacksonville. Now moving down to the running back, a couple backups to think about here. If you have James Conner, Jalen Samuels is healthy. He's going to get the start. He's someone to keep an eye on. But if you're looking for just a replacement, that's going to be Mark Walton. Yes, we've talked a lot about how you should not own any Miami Dolphin, and I'm telling you to go out and pick up a Miami Dolphin. Mark Walton is getting the lion's share of the carries here. He's had over 10 the last 2 weeks. He had 6 targets last week as well. For those of you playing in PPR leagues, 3 receptions. He's looked pretty good. And if you can get a guy that's going to lead his team in carries on the waiver wire, go out and get him. And he's playing a bad Jets defense. He should have at least a decent game and good enough to fill your bye week spot there. Moving down to receivers, a couple interesting ones here. You're getting some guys that might not be on everyone's fantasy radar. A couple guys to highlight before going into the guy that I'm high on this week. Danny Amendola against the Oakland Raiders for the Detroit Lions. He looked really good. And Cole Beasley has become a trusted target for Josh Allen out in Buffalo. I like him against Washington. It's just going to be a matter of how much they're going to pass and if he has the touchdowns. But that being said, I'm going to go staying right here in Chicago. Guy that everyone was high on going into the year. I was pretty high on him. Anthony Miller. He's been a bit of a disappointment thus far, but each of the last 3 games, he's had at least 3 receptions, at least 50 yards. And one of those games, he did have 6 receptions for 80 yards. He's going to be decent enough. He might find the end zone this week against a bad Philadelphia Eagle defense. He's only owned in 12% of leagues. Please go out and get him. He is going to be a focal point of this offense along with Allen Robinson. Miller's playing out of the slot. He'll be pretty good against a banged up and bad Eagle defense. Lastly, we're going to move into the tight end spot. Tight end's obviously a perennial issue here in fantasy football, but injuries are helping us out this week. If you hadn't heard, T.Y. Hilton's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks minimum. So Eric Ebron is going to become a bigger target for Jacoby Brissett down in Indianapolis. He's only owned in 48.6% of leagues, so he's out there. And they're probably going to be in a neutral game script game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Expect Eric Ebron to put up decent numbers this week. Additionally, for those of you who are a little superstitious, he's scored in every other week. He did not score a touchdown last week. So maybe another one's coming. For those of you out there streaming defenses too, I really like Carolina going up against Tennessee. So if you're in that game, try going after the Carolina Panthers. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you like all these guys. Please let me know what you think after the fact and how these guys perform. Let me know. Give me a shout. See you guys soon.